Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Broadway Jets YouTube channel. You'll know me from Twitter as NYJ Mike. I'm joined as always by the master of receipts, NYJ Matt. And Matt, we are in day 2 of free agency in the 2025 NFL offseason. And right before we came on air, the Jets have made a couple of moves. They signed, and I am looking at the pronunciation guide, Chukwuma Okorafor, and they re-signed Isaiah Oliver. So some interesting moves.
Mike, we're actually on day 3 because we
Day
did nothing on
3.
day 2.
Oh my God, we didn't do anything yesterday. You're right. This is day 3. Apologies.
And then
Oh,
we
by the
did
way,
Go
hold
ahead.
on. If you made it this far, which is 48 seconds into the video, please like, subscribe. We're on the road to more subscribers than we have, whatever the road is.
I like
so
it. We
come
did
hang
make
out.
another move today. Don't forget. I want to make sure I get it right.
Oh, they signed the pass rusher from the Titans.
That's right.
What the hell is his name? Weaver. Yes, Rashad Weaver.
I kept saying Weaver. I hardly know her. After they made the move. So yeah, we're back. Day 2, they did nothing. Nothing. Day 2, and then day 3. Now they're starting to bring in some guys. You do need 53 men on your football team. So like if you get Weaver as a 4th edge guy, like maybe that Jacob Martin type deal, even though Jacob Martin got like 3 years, 15 million, a lot more in 2021, 2022. And then you need Oliver as like a 4th, 5th corner. And then I'm going to call him Chuck because I just don't want to pronounce his full name.
Yeah.
And then you look at him as maybe a backup tackle. And
this is fine. Well, I want to see the money. That's the thing. Like the Jets have made some moves so far where maybe some high upside starting type players, but they got starting type money in Brandon Stevens. So that's one thing. And then it looks like these are some depth signings. I looked at Okorafor's contract last year, Matt. He signed. So he had started. He was the Steelers' right tackle for the 3 years prior. He was the starter. And the Patriots signed him for a 1-year, $4 million contract last year. So not the highest of expectations there. So you figure hopefully the money's in that range or less. There is a weird story that came out last year. So Okorafor signed with the Patriots and started 1 game and then left the team in week 2, was unhappy with his role, whatever that means. I haven't looked too much more into it. So that's an interesting character concern, but former starter. Hopefully you get him for cheap. Maybe he'll compete for the right tackle spot.
Yeah, and if there's a lot of anger on Jets Twitter right now, I would say I would agree with you if we knew that it was over and there was no one left out there. But if you're signing these guys to be the backup depth guys, fine. You do need to make a move, though, because the starting caliber people are falling off the board. So you do have to make a move. You need an interior defensive lineman. You probably need a backup there, too. You need another safety. You need a right tackle. You need 2 receivers. You need a tight end. You need a lot of things, and you have 3 top 73 picks to make that happen. But you do need to add players, and we talked about it a little bit before. Wide receiver is a huge need, my biggest need currently, and there are guys out there that you can get. The question is, are they going to actually go get those guys? And right now, based on how their process is going, doesn't feel like they're maybe being as aggressive as a previous regime might have been.
Well, yeah, we were talking about, well, first of all, I keep saying this, but the Justin Fields signing, I think lessens the need for a receiver, but you also want to surround Fields with as much talent as you can to see what he really could do. But it's not like the Jets are going to throw the ball 600 times this year. So I think I would not put wide receiver as my number one need. I think I'm very concerned with the run defense, which was a problem last year, and you just don't have any nose tackles. I do like Leonard Taylor, though, so you have Quinnen and Leonard Taylor. You start there, and you can get a couple fat dudes in there. But we were talking, too. It's interesting, like someone will tweet out, oh, like all these receivers are gone, or like Van Jefferson signs, or the Ekine Westbrook signs. People are like, man, like everyone's gone. I looked out and I was like, oh shit, is there nobody left? And it's like, dude, there's like Keenan Allen and Amari Cooper and like all these like real veteran players. I don't know. I feel like the sentiment, and I understand it's football and it's physical, and we're getting older individually as people. And so I'm a 28-year-old guy now. getting more difficult to play sports at a high level. You can feel that. But I don't see the problem with making a couple veteran moves and getting some of these real guys in here. Even like I tweeted at I just tweeted at Matt O'Leary, like I literally rather have Tyron Smith as my right tackle than Okorafor.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Which is like, and people be like, that's insane. Why is that insane? Just you could go sign a older dude who's a established player. A couple of them, and you have to have depth and yada yada yada. But so I think there's still guys out there, and I'm not ready to call the offseason any kind of failure yet. It's just and listen, these depth signings are fine. Maybe some of these guys will turn out to be good players, and is what it is. So interesting start. It's a newer idea. I didn't really track the Broncos free agent movements the last couple of years too much, but maybe we'll go back and take a dive into that to see what what Mudang was thinking of.
And I did think about how every year we win the offseason. Every year we win it, like 5 years in a row. Maybe the one year we don't win it, it'll translate to playing better. Like
well, it does that does happen, and then it feels like we have like the all-time worst offseason and season, like 2020. They just went that route where they signed a bunch of under the radar kind of players. Rashad Perriman, we were going over it the other day, and it was awful. So it's either going to work or it's not. You hope the regime can identify talent.
I do want to ask you though, because I put out a tweet for like listener questions to come through, because at that time they only had signed Rashad Weaver when I tweeted out. I do want to quickly bring up Buffalo Jet fan, friend of the program, great follow on Twitter and on YouTube.
He's been great.
He said, would you rather have an O-line of 5 Max Mitchells or a D-line of 4 Michael Clemens?
It's a great question. I think wow. How do you win a football game either way? I think I'd rather have the 4 Michael Clemens, because there's one less of them.
I would as well, just because we've seen such bad offense for 15 years. Even if we gave up 1 million rushing yards and never got to the quarterback like Michael Clemens does, maybe our offense looks good and adequate. I'm taking 4 Michael Clemens.
I agree. And I don't want to watch just immediate pressure every play. Buffalo Jet fan has coined the phrase the John Simpson-ing or the John Simpson offseason.
Yep.
So meaning a younger, more durable, higher upside player that you could sign for cheaper, which it seems like the Jets are in that mold right now, and you just hope it works. But the only thing is, you're signing like Brandon Stevens, who fits that mold. You gave him $12 million. It's not nothing. So these guys have to work out. I'm very curious to see, because Matt, remember last year the Jets signed like Javon Kinlaw, and we're like, all right, big dude, could be a monster. Let's see what they paid him, and it was like $10 million. You're like, what the fuck?
And he's carrying a $4 million cap hit this year, which is very frustrating.
Yeah. So,
but we'll do a little rapid fire.
Well, real quick before that, we should touch on the other thing that the Jets did today was officially cut Aaron Rodgers, my boy, over yonder. I don't know how my camera works. Interestingly, spreading the money over 2 years, they did kind of say they were going to do this. When the Jets said they were going to move on from Rodgers, I personally don't understand this move. Maybe in one case, maybe you're going to use that money to sign your younger players long term, but I don't know if that would impact. They're still going to be signed for both years, so that doesn't make too much sense to me. If you're gonna go the route and get rid of Rodgers, take your medicine this year and be clean next year, because now you're going to be paying. Because that's the thing, people are like, oh, it would have been more money to keep Rodgers. So my argument was, if you're gonna pay money next year, at least use the Hall of Fame player. And then the argument is, the one against it is that the money would increase next year if you played Rodgers, because you have to pay him also his salary. But my argument against that is you're paying Justin Fields.
Right.
So I think it's around similar money, and you're just using Justin Fields over Aaron Rodgers. So I get it. We've talked about it, Matt. Your point, maybe Fields is going to be great, but it was.
If Fields is good, I mean, you can win. The other thing about the cap moving, and the cap goes up next year, I get it. It almost feels, most people on Twitter, like NFL people are like, oh yeah, that's the right move. I think Connor Hughes was the one that was like, why not just eat it? I like don't care anymore. Like it's a very bizarre, like whatever they did it, and now I have to move on and live with it. So I don't know, man.
Yeah, I don't know. I would have eaten it all this year, and but we'll see. Hopefully, the Jets make that worthwhile because it doesn't seem like the greatest free agency class. But maybe the Jets go out and make a couple splash moves and get the team ready to go. Because I do think the Jets are not a rebuilding team with the young talent that they have on their roster. It's not. So, and the Jets by spreading that money over 2 years, they are trying to compete next year. So that at least is a good, exciting kind of thing.
Yeah, and it follows well into Jet News on Twitter. Asked, are the Jets actually committed to winning, or are they just saying that? In my opinion, you're not going to take one of these 32 jobs and not try to win, and they're going to win in their own vision. Like they're going to build a team, and if they think getting these younger upside guys and maybe they pan out, being a good drafting team, find the right guy at quarterback, like that's how they think they can win. So that's the route they're taking. I don't think they're punting on 2025 at all, because if you are punting on 2025, we would see a lot of these guys leave. Like we would actually see like a trade to move off guys. And Mike, if they're 2-5, like does Breece Hall get traded to a contender? You have to pay Elijah Vera Tucker very soon. You have an assuming extension coming for Garrett and Sauce, but there's a lot of guys in this team that I don't know, man. Like you have to try to win this year and the following year. So I don't think they're punting at all.
No, that's exactly it, Matt. If you saw Garrett Wilson get traded, then they're punting the season. If they don't, then they're trying to win football games, and rightfully so. It's going to be this is the most probably angry fan base in sports in terms of they're going to need some real quick verification and wins. Yeah. Even if the Jets, if the start of 0-2, it's going to be, oh my God, here we go again. So
I'm with you. Now, Boy Green, Paul Esden, he asked about the tight end position. I have been one a little bit anti Tyler Conklin. I know I keep saying it, but I'm fine with not signing Conklin to like a $12, $13 million deal. Like I don't want that. He brought up the idea of Dallas Goedert trade, and the one that I think would fit the mold is Michael Mayer, the tight end from Notre Dame that the Jets did a lot of homework on, the previous regime in that draft. The type of guy, that young guy who the team obviously has a very good tight end in front of him. Maybe they can recoup a day 3 pick. First round picks do have. Was he a first round pick?
Michael Mayer was a first round pick. Yeah, didn't they take back to back, or maybe he's a second round pick?
I think he was a first round pick. He was projected to potentially go to the Jets where Will McDonald was drafted. No, or am I
second round pick?
Okay,
official.
So, technically, a second round pick still carries a higher salary cap than majority of the team, because you're now having like veteran guys and undrafted free agents and day 3 picks playing for you. So they could move off that contract. They get a pick for him. I think it'd be fun to have a tight end room with a guy that is young, can get better. So I would love that move. That would be a move that I would do if I'm the Jets, and maybe you strike gold with a high-end prospect that could turn out to be pretty good.
It seems to fit the mold that they're doing, these younger, higher upside guys. He obviously got blocked by Bowers last year and wasn't super productive. Decent rookie season. I'm looking at 300 yards in 14 games. So worth a shot. Doesn't like Goddard. Doesn't seem like the kind of move that this regime wants to make right now. And Fields was, if I remember correctly, had a decent connection with Cole Kmet in Chicago. So it'd be nice to have a nice safety blanket. You can't go into the season with Jeremy Ruckert as your number 1 tight end. We don't even know if we can go into the season with Jeremy Ruckert as our number 2 tight end. So it's going to be interesting to see what they do there.
People are also talking about an Olave trade. I don't know. Like, are you going to pay? I would do it. But like, what do you have to give up? Are you going to give up a second round pick? Right? Is it a 3 in a future 2? Like, I don't know what that trade would be. I would love for it, just because if you can get Gus Johnson to call a game with Garrett Wilson, Chris Olave, and Justin Fields, Olave, like it'd be perfect. Yeah. I would do that in a heartbeat.
Olave has some sick numbers. I mean, the guy has probably almost as much brain damage as Tua, and he can't slide like Tua can. Not that Tua slides. So He should work out with Tyler Lockett all offseason and just fall down every time he touches the ball. But in terms of a player, that's very exciting. And maybe the Jets could get him for cheaper because, one, the Saints are in a weird cap situation, which, again, Matt, they're like – everyone's like, oh, dude, the Saints are $50 million under the cap. And they sign Chase Young and Juwan Johnson for $80 million. But and also with the injury history, so maybe you get Olave for a little cheaper. And that would be very exciting because then, like, to your point, if Garrett Wilson went down, that's a legitimate, wide receiver 1 in the NFL. And you have a really good core.
I don't want to fall into the trap, though, that a lot of teams do with the Jet young players of, it would only take like a 3rd-round pick or whatever, because you'll see a tweet where it's like Sauce Gardner for a 2 and like a backup tight end. And I get mad about those. So I don't want to do that to other
they would do it if we offered it, bro. If we offered that shit. Well, Olave had a weird year last year. He was not as productive in his 8 games, but he has how many concussions? Like, it's not like Garrett Wilson, who's been available and great. But before, going into last year, Olave was in the same, almost the same exact guy statistically. So
I don't know. It's weird. I don't know if you're feeling the same way. I almost feel peak you and I being like diehard Jet fans. Really, like, I don't know if the time period, if you're going to agree to it, the AFC Championship run was sick, but like, dude, that like 2014 to 2019, it's like we get our young guy, we have a good close playoff run, but even from like 2019 to like 2024, like all I could do every moment of every day is like, what are the Jets going to do? How are they going to be? And this, like today, we're signing back.
I feel down, dude.
I feel down, right? Like that's where I'm trying to get at.
And it's weird because the Jets are not in the worst situation ever. Like, they're probably going to be better next year than they've been. It just, this is what happens. You want to win with the guys that you want to actually win with, right? So, like, we loved the idea of Rodgers, and we were really excited about it. It always comes back to this. It's like having a girlfriend. Like, we were so into it, and the feelings felt reciprocal, and we're like, man, we found the one finally. She's a little bit older, but we have a couple great years coming up, and it's like the whole team though feels like that. It's not just the Rodgers thing, but then it felt like the Jets. We truly believed that they were going to be great, and now I don't know if I have that belief for the next couple of years, which hurts.
I get nervous because even guys that we didn't love on the team last year, a lot of them are going to be gone. Like Javon Kinlaw, hopefully Clemens is gone, which I don't think is a guarantee. That was another question we got.
Like, they're defensive linemen, so
right. But 2 guys that left the Jets that, like, I look back and I would call it 3 guys. Did DJ Reed have a great end to the year? No, but like you lose a high end player in DJ Reed.
He was terrific, man.
Yeah, but he fell off towards the back end a little bit.
For sure.
But yeah, he's a guy that now you have to fill that void. And then you lose a guy like Solomon Thomas, who by no means is like a world beater, but like out of anyone on the defense actually showed a little bit of life at times last year.
He was good.
Then he's gone.
Yeah.
Brandon Echols will step in any game your cornerback goes down and play serviceable.
He was great in the Titans game last year. Yeah.
Got the pick. He's gone.
Yeah.
It's like, Mike, I can't say right now when you lose Rodgers, Devontae, and a couple guys in defense that were depth guys, like how much better did this team get from 5 wins? And we talk a bit like fluky, can't lose all those games again, but I like 15 guys on the team, but you need 22 starters and a bunch of depth guys. And if I like 15, it's not good enough to not only fight for a playoff spot, but how can you advance past Buffalo, Kansas City, a revised, like these, like the Ravens? Like, Mike, I can't see the Jets, and that 2019 game is like ingrained in my memory, and the 2022 opener. Like, are we gonna go out there and beat the Baltimore Ravens on the road? Like, I don't know. I just don't find that happening.
Well, they got to listen. Now it's just got to be. They did what they did, and now they have to really actually change the culture. And it's like if you have the right coach and the right GM, things will turn around. It might take a little bit of time. We're just gonna have to be bought back in. Like, it's tough. And we're gonna blindly root and love and try to support, but it's not the same until like we truly believe in the team to be good. There is going to be a little bit of a bleak feeling, and it is what it is. And I do, but Matt, again, like with better coaching last year, you win a lot of those games. So, there's a good base of a team. You have a very good offensive line that's all young. You have Breece Hall, you have Garrett Wilson. We're going to be excited to watch those guys. Until you believe in the quarterback, it's going to be hard to really think your team is going to be great. So that's what we're talking about. And then obviously some personnel shortages, just literally not enough dudes.
And maybe you could start a year like we did in 2017, where I think you're 3-2 through 5. And Mike, could I have a year where like fumbles or tip passes go our way, and and things start happening where you can win games on small moments that happen during it?
Yes.
And you're right. You kind of move at the pace of your quarterback. So if Justin Fields goes out there, and I love Garrett Wilson and Breece Hall, and I like the O-line a lot, and they're moving the ball, he's out of the pocket, and then we start buying in from there, it comes back, and I know we've been debating it a little bit. Like the wide receiver group does matter a lot to me. Like it does matter a ton because this offensive line and how the Jets have ran with Breece Hall, they do not get 4.5, 5 yards a carry on first down, and they don't have plays where you're always having to throw the ball.
Fields is going to help with that though too.
I get it, but Mike,
Tim
Patrick is probably the guy they're going to get. But Mike, would it surprise you if Tim Patrick just goes elsewhere and you don't have him? Like I would love Tim.
Yeah, maybe they'll get one of the veterans, and also like, what would happen is, let's say they literally don't get a receiver, which is not going to happen, and Malachi Corley is a number 2 receiver. He's going to have like 500-600 yards, and then he's just going to be viewed as Tim Patrick. Not the same style of player, but you know what I mean? No, like someone has to catch the ball. So
I want one of 4 guys at wide receiver. Like I just want one of 4 guys that at wide receiver 2 would make me just very confident in the ability that we can put up 25 points a game. And those 4 guys are Cooper Kupp, it is Amari Cooper, it is Keenan Allen, it is Stephon Diggs. And I know all 4 of those guys older, but if you have a young receiver and Garrett Wilson is going to get 100 million targets, maybe you can survive with paying a guy a little bit more to be like a 1-2 year deal. You can maybe hit on a guy day 2, day 3 in the draft, but one of those 4 guys might bring
one of those 4 guys, man. It's a legitimate, like, really great two guys.
That's and then you take Tyler Warren, who can run, block, and catch the ball.
Now we're cooking with gas.
And now you're cooking with gas, exactly. And maybe you get
the big defensive sign like a backup tight end for $2 million.
Mo Alley
Cox. That. Yeah, we get Mo Alley Cox and draft a receiver in the 4th round. But they're going to do it, man. They have some resources. They have to do something. It's going to be more exciting. And again, we always talk about it from the other perspective where we're optimistic about the team and things are not going well. And we're like, man, things change quickly. Like you win a couple games, you look up, you're feeling great. So it is the same in reverse where we're not feeling so great about the trajectory of the organization, but we do have new coach, new GM. They could be amazing. It could be, we could look back in this and the Jets can make the playoffs in like 6 years. And we're like, oh my God, remember when we were like so down about Aaron Glenn and Darren Moudang?
For the record, neither of us are down on them.
I'm not down. Yeah, I'm just down about the whole situation. It just felt like there was such a high the last couple of years. And I thought, and I was just hoping that we would get one more chance with that group, and we didn't. So now I have to change my tune and get back up high on this one. But life is ups and downs, and it's never going to be straight up. And in fact, it hasn't really even been a little bit up, but we're gonna go up. It's gonna get better, and it's gonna be fun at some point. It's gonna be great, dude. Can you imagine when we started this podcast? When did we do this? Like 2020?
2020.
Like, we wouldn't even win fucking. At least we were 7-4 at one point. That was pretty cool.
What's really funny is that we've been doing it since 2020. We've made like 40 videos. Like we do we've filmed so non-often that the Jets just tweeted out, "Welcome Chuck Wuma."
Let's go. I hope he doesn't quit on the fucking team. 3rd round pick. Chonky dude, Matt, 6'6", 320. Good arms. I have no idea if he has good arms. It's they're gonna have to prove it to us now. So, man, Right, that feeling is weird. But I felt this, man. Honestly, I was feeling this a little bit with Zach Wilson those years.
Yeah.
2021, same feeling. Then all of a sudden you put a team together. I was feeling this way with the Mets too a little bit. And I'm the same Mets fan as I'm a Jet fan. And then like this year, you go into the year and it just feels good. You just believe you're going to beat the fuck out of everybody. And that is a cool feeling. And I really felt that way last year with the Jets. And I would have felt this way coming into this year if they kept things in place.
Yeah, but then I think about if I'm another 31 fan base, if you picture yourself as a, call it any fan, when you see the
Only
Jets on
fan.
your schedule as of today, auto win. Like your mind's like that's a win. When if you have the older regime, right, and different players and personnel, that's like a sneaky game. So yeah, you have to. We're at the point now where I don't think you and I are like rah, we're gonna win 12 games. It's more you have to prove it to us, and we'll wait and see, and then we'll be excited.
And we'll give it a chance. But also, to be fair, if I thought the Jets were going to be great this year with Aaron Rodgers and Devontae Adams, they at least should be competitive, which I do think they're going to be. And again, we went down the offense already. A lot of good young players, and they have a chance to supplement it. And then on defense, you do have a good base. You have two real pass rushers, which we never had. You have an all-pro corner. You have two all-pro linebackers, one Quincy Williams. You have Mosley, who is old, and you have Sherwood, all guys who have received all-pro votes in the last couple of years. You have a couple safeties now. You have a real team. The Jets could actually come out and fly around on defense, and they just have to make some moves now that are going to supplement this team. Yeah. Maybe Justin Fields would be great and shock the world, and he's certainly talented, Matt.
Do you think they're going to cut Lazard?
Maybe not now. If everyone's getting fucking $12 million, his contract doesn't look as disgusting. So then at least maybe you have a number 2, and you could sign a guy that you want to play in the slot, or you could draft a guy, and at least he's a professional receiver, sort of.
It's weird if he just didn't commit so many penalties as a wide receiver and drop so many passes. His number is actually paced out like a normal wide receiver too.
No, he was having a good year last year,
and he got hurt, right? Like you could make the argument, but I think we're all we need a palate cleanser from a lot of the guys that we need to move off of. Man, I'm like the draft is one of my favorite days of the year. The fact that we have 3 top 73 picks is very cool. But yeah, I hate saying, hey, we need 6 starters right now, knowing that 2 of them should be filled from the draft right off the jump. But
do we need 6 starters? What do they need now? Technically, another safety. Let's call it 1 safety.
1 tight end.
1 tight end.
1 D tackle.
1 D tackle.
2 receivers.
Fine.
And then
they have enough corners now. Your cornerback room is set, really.
Yeah, need a kicker.
Stevens, Nick Folk, bring him home. What do we have to do to make Nick Folk come home? That'd be amazing. They did sign a fullback. I forgot about that. The Beck guy.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
But it's not crazy. Like, so you figure in the draft, you get at least 2 of those positions nailed down. And then what? So what? You need 3-4 guys in free agency. It's not crazy.
Yeah, and you'd rather need a safety, fat defensive lineman, tight end, and it's right tackle than needing a quarterback, left tackle, wide receiver, corner, edge. Like you'd rather, like these are the positions that you'd rather need a hole in. But it would have been cool, like, like a defensive lineman that, like, who was the guy that went to L.A.? He came from the Rams. Pua?
Which one?
The Chargers guy.
On the Jets?
Chargers went to the Rams. The big defensive line. I think his name's Pua.
Oh, Poona Ford?
Poona Ford. Like, what if we just got Poona Ford and we're like, oh, we have a big defensive lineman who's younger. Let's just throw him in there. Like, I'd feel pretty good about it.
Yeah, just sign a fat dude. You have Quinnen, so you don't need another actual stud. Or they could draft Mason Graham. One of these guys is going to be filled with an absolute monster with the 7th pick. Or they could even trade down and get 2 guys.
Yeah.
So it's attainable. It's doable.
Don't they?
It's gonna feel good when
GM head coach press conference like after week 1 of free agency, if I remember correctly.
Oh, they're gonna do it.
Like, are we due for that? I feel like it.
I want to see Fields talk. That'd be interesting. I was watching some Fields highlights. He's got some. His running ability is unbelievable.
He's so fast.
He's so fast, dude. He has like crazy highlights. You know, like you watch like top 10 plays from whatever year, and it's ridiculous. He's spinning, running through guys, running past guys. It's going to be a different offense. They got to figure out a way to score fucking 20 points. They should be able to do it.
There's a true crash out going on Jets Twitter right now.
People are
like a true crash out. People are losing their minds. And then my favorite thing is, like, the Jets will sign Rashad Weaver,
Yeah,
and then people will be like, you know what? I've always liked this game. I've always liked this game. You know, I'm gonna pull up some all 22 film. An hour later, they come back. They're like, oh, he has sneaky bend, because there was one clip on Twitter of him making a good move.
he has sneaky bend.
You have no. If you're listening, and you made it this far. It's better to be kind of in the middle on every argument in life. Like, you go far one way or the other. The answer is usually somewhere in the middle. Is Rashad Weaver going to be a starting edge and have 12 sacks? No. Is he the type of signing that means that we're in a full rebuild and the GM hates you and your family? Probably not. You know, like, probably in the middle.
Yeah.
You might hate your family.
Yeah. What do you think? You have an undrafted guy at every backup position? No.
I'm just ready for the first tailgate, Mike. We get there with those guys that we tailgate with, and they just talk about how much they hate every move that moves you did. They're gonna be like, I like Aaron Glenn, but this GM is Idzik 2.0, and you're just they haven't even played it down yet.
Some guys, you know, it's interesting because there are people who, when they go through periods like we're going through, will just like check out of the team, which I always thought was very interesting. Yeah, so clearly we're not as excited for next year as we could be, you know, and we'll see what happens. And I still think the Jets are going to be competitive and solid and yada, 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 but it's not my favorite Jets team right now ever. And there are people that just check out and they're like, all right, like I'll check back in like 2 years.
We're going to go to every game. Like we go to games, we do post recap podcasts. We spend 24 hours a day on Twitter. Like we live it and die it. I almost felt, no, it almost felt like personal the past 5 years. Like it actually affected how I lived my life on how the Jets played. And right now, how I feel is very indifferent. And I did feel this way in 2021, Mike, when they moved up Darnold.
I was going to say, it's the same feeling, but it's like if you watched, we got to go back and watch our videos, like right when they were getting Rodgers. And it's like, oh my God. Because this is clearly the worst case scenario.
We probably didn't even record a video. We probably just
yeah, we were busy.
FaceTimed each other.
Dude, if it's clearly the worst case of whatever happened, the immediate injury, and then you win 5 games, and then you cut Rodgers and sign Justin Fields. Like if you said those things would happen, I would laugh in your face.
Mike, it's so much worse than that, though. It's so much worse than that. Because if I take you back 7 years, in 2018, the moment the Browns took Baker Mayfield and we knew Saquon was going to the Giants, we were like, oh my God, the NFL let this happen. We got our guy. And then if you take that very moment, and it's 2018, and did a good final 4 weeks of that year, everything that happened after that, letting McCagnon do free agency, spend a fuck ton of money, firing him, hiring Adam Gase, who was a GM for a day. Then you go 7-9.
But you're 1-7.
Yep. 2020, you have the worst year in your franchise history except for one other year.
Yeah.
They then get rid of the guy that you've always really liked. He, a couple years later, will go win 14 games and lead a team to the playoffs when they were projected to go last in their division. But guess what, Mike? It's okay. Because in 2021, you have the 2nd overall pick. You just miss out on the generational guy who gives a fuck about Trevor Lawrence.
And we're going to love this guy, dude.
And you draft such a garbage quarterback so bad that you actually end up getting a decent draft pick, taking 2 studs in 2022. But guess what, Mike? Aaron Rodgers is coming to your team to save your franchise, tears his Achilles week 1, and then comes back, plays every game, and then you start looking at this person had 1,000 yards. Well, this guy, had this many picks, and you start looking down like, oh wait, Jamien Sherwood's going to get all pro votes. Like if Jamien Sherwood's getting all pro votes, and Will McDonald has double-digit sacks, like you're looking around and saying, oh, this team's going to win a fuck ton of games. You win 5 of them.
5. And then you go to the offseason and you're like, man, Rodgers looked pretty good towards the end of the season. He kind of looked like himself. We got one more crack at this thing. We got a new coach, a new GM. We really like the coach. And then they cut him and they signed Justin Fields, who could be great. And I hope he turns out amazing. But it's just not what we wanted. It's just, if we're going to lose, at least do what we want. And you know what, Matt? Well, the final nail in the coffin of this garbage will be if Fields sucks and Rodgers goes and competes for the MVP next year. Hopefully, even if Rodgers goes and competes for the MVP next year, Fields is just awesome, and we love him, and we're gonna be rooting for him. I'm gonna get a Fields shirt. I'm gonna go to Mrs. Fields and eat some fucking cookies.
Can I bring up an anti-Rodgers thing for a minute? And it's not you're going to hate what I'm about to say. And I don't even think I believe what I'm going to say. 2023 felt like a revenge tour for him. Like he wants to fucking show it to the Packers. You did this. Gets hurt. Part of me feels like 2024 for him wasn't a revenge tour. I'm going to prove everybody wrong. It was, I want to show people that someone this old coming off a brutal injury can play every game. And I'm not saying that took away from him like I'm not saying he was like, I care about more that than winning. I'm not saying that at all. But it's just, if something was missing with him last year, and it's the coaching, it's everything, but it just that like X factors wasn't there.
It wasn't there. There was a point in the season too where, I'm sure it transitioned from hey, like we got to make the playoffs to we're fucking 2-6 and I want to play the rest of the games. Naturally, but even like, because in like the Texans game, it felt like he had it, and then you're 3-6. I don't know. It just, it would have been different if a couple of games early flipped. You needed a couple of those early games to flip, and then you had a different season. It would have been more what we thought, I think. But who the fuck knows? Yeah. Like we always talk about it. What if, like, and the Zerline missed kicking against the Broncos was a tough kick. What if he made that kick and you're 3-1? Like, do you win the next week? Do you come out different? And you lost the Vikings game, close game, and then you lost the Bills game, close game.
I am happy they got Fields, though. I'm happy they got Fields. If they went like the Mariota route, it would have been so it would have been so gross. And I think Mariota would have been gross for me. Carson Wentz, I don't think would have been inspiring at all, but at least you can make the argument like they did it 2 years too late, but maybe he strikes gold again. Like
I wouldn't have hated that. And even when he played the game manager role with the Colts, he was good. And they should have made the playoffs that year. And he was 27 touchdowns, 7 picks, like a real player. So, yeah, Mariota would have been disgusting.
Figure it out right now. The Colts are in a tough spot.
Danny Dimes, bro. Oh, but man, we have a lot of good young guys that we like. There have been. I don't think it's a true dark age coming up. I think there's some hope, and maybe they'll make some moves, get some veteran guys in here.
That's why it's different than 2021, though, because in 2021, who are the people you're rooting for? You thought Mekhi Becton was gonna be great, and you had like Denzel Mims had a good game against the Chargers.
We had Quinnen,
Becton. Maybe the thought of Mims being good.
Yeah, Mims was like the guy. Elijah Moore, did they draft that year?
2021. I'm thinking like going into 2021.
Before the draft was an absolute fucking disaster.
Like who were the? You
they
don't
had
have a.
Yeah. Who did we get in free agency that year?
In 2021.
Like going into the year.
Corey Davis.
Why do you say like that?
I don't know what happened to Corey Davis. I almost put out a tweet today, like fucking around, like what, like maybe he wants to come back. Seemed like he didn't.
Why didn't you DM him? You're talking to another former Jet.
There was a rumor out there that Corey Davis was pissed about a certain move the Jets made. Maybe the Lazard move. Like
I think it was
something.
These guys
And
are
then,
ridiculous.
all right,
We
let's
thought
try
he-
to
we
think
thought
about
he-
it.
We thought he retired because of like sadness, or like he had like a health issue.
Yeah, they didn't get into it. It was like very.
Yeah,
They were quiet about it.
2021.
So
our
quarterback,
corner-
they already had Flacco.
Who are our corners in 2020? It was Bryce Hall and
What year was Nate Harrison a corner?
Nate Harrison, dude. No, that's a name I've not heard in a long, long time.
2021 was that like Corey Ballantyne, Bryce Hall, Brandon Eccles with Bryce Hall,
Yeah.
Corey Ballantyne,
Oh,
Brandon Eccles, Isaiah Dunn.
Isaiah Dunn, dude. That's a great pull.
Well, when
Let's look at
the
our
Jets signed Isaiah Oliver today, I was like, wait, I forgot. I was like, are they not the same person?
Oh, they got Keelan Cole.
Oh, don't tell me. 2021.
Yeah. Oh, this is an insane free agent class.
So their starting offense was Zach Wilson,
Yep.
Michael Carter.
Yes.
They had Elijah Moore. They had Cole.
Yeah.
They had Davis.
Yep. They had another receiver who is known more for other
Braxton
things.
Berrios.
That's right.
Yeah.
They
Their
had.
offensive line was Becton.
They still had Crowder also on that team.
That was a cool wide receiver room.
I mean,
They had Mims
Yeah.
too, who was inactive every game.
yeah,
Remember that whole
Mims
thing?
that year had 8 catches. They signed the tight end. If you remember that, I forgot about this guy. Holy shit! I'll give you a team if you want.
No, don't. I want to get like Becton, Fant on the offensive line, AVT, Spencer Long. Is that earlier? That was earlier.
Let me look at the
It was
starter.
Connor McGovern and Greg Van Roten were on the
Yes,
offensive line.
that is I believe that's the actual starting.
Oh, the Jets made a move.
What they do?
Former Packers center Josh Myers agreed to a 1-year, $3 million deal.
Oh, that's nice.
Good depth.
I
Why
like
not?
that, Matt. I like that a lot. That's a cool move. You did actually nail the offensive line minus the right tackle.
Wasn't Fant?
Nope. Fant played left tackle that year.
Because Becton got hurt. Because
Yes.
Greg Van Roten lived.
And the right tackle has been in the news this week. You're gonna laugh.
Chuma Adoga.
No, he's a 2-time Jet.
What?
2-time Jet starter. Multiple stints.
Oh, Morgan Moses?
Yes, Morgan Moses was the right tackle.
It's
not a horrific offensive line.
Who was the tight end in
The
2020?
tight ends are very disgusting.
Dan Brown.
I think he was on the team, but he's not listed as a starter. One of the tight ends is known as like a fullback.
Trevon
Who's it?
Wesco.
Yes. One of the tight ends the Jets signed from the Bengals, who is known as a blocker.
God.
Tough, dude. I haven't thought about this guy since that season.
What was his stat line?
He had 16 catches for 173 yards and a touchdown in 9 games.
Who was his touchdown against?
I don't even fucking remember.
See if you can look it up because I'm gonna like.
Oh, I can, of course I can.
Was it the Mike White Bengals game?
I don't think so. It was the. Oh, it was.
Yeah, I had a feeling.
Well, they scored most of the points of that season.
Connor McDermott had a touchdown that game.
Wait, am I looking at the wrong game? No, yeah, this is it. Oh, yeah, Connor McDermott. He had more touchdowns than Denzel Mims with the Jets.
Give me the initials of the tight end. This is great podcasting.
TK.
Oh, Tyler Croft.
Yes, Tyler Croft.
Yeah.
And then the other starting tight end was like an incumbent Jets player at that point.
Didn't Tyler Croft like get really injured against the Patriots that year?
He might have. He didn't do much after that.
I'm looking at the tweet of the Josh Myers. This guy replies in all caps, "No," and he's a Jet fan. Like, what?
Just a backup center. Wow. Dude. There's there's another tight end, Matt, but he wasn't signed that year. We mentioned him in the podcast the other day, I think. He was like the Jets tight end basically for those couple years.
Like Ryan Griffin.
It is Ryan Griffin.
I'm proud of what I just did for 2021. The
dirty
defense
offense, dude. You missed one like running back who was one of the major free agent signings, kinda.
Oh, Kalen Balazs.
No, but that's great.
Fuck.
That's
God
great. This
damn
guy
it.
was actually more of an impact player on the Jets.
Tevin Coleman.
Who?
Tevin Coleman.
Yes, Tevin Coleman. Very nice. He was pretty good.
Let's go. We got time to kill. If you made it this far, thanks for coming. Give me the defense.
The defense. This is statistically one of the worst defenses in football history or in Jets history, which is interesting because then Saleh, the Jets defense was great the next year.
I think about the Falcons game with his defense. Like that's where my mind goes to.
Dirty game. This is the last year of Matt Ryan, I believe.
Probably.
Wow.
So the 11 guys on defense. We have Quinnen.
We
do have Quincy.
We do have Quincy, and we didn't realize he was great yet. Well, we liked him.
Yep. Did I get those corners before? Like the
starting corners that you got. Jesus Christ, where are they? This is an insane cornerback group. Yeah, Brandon Echols started all 14 games that he played, which I don't remember him doing. Bryce Hall was the other starter. So those are your two real starters. And
Brian Poole still there?
Brian Poole was not there. But the nickel is you should get. There's two nickel corners.
Michael Carter.
Michael Carter was there, and then there's another guy who you're gonna remember. Who I kept
Mosley there.
Mosley's there.
Avery Williamson.
Tackles. No. The other linebacker was just really Quincy Williams, and then
Harvey Lange.
Harvey Lange is probably on this team somewhere. I don't see him. There's another linebacker. There's a linebacker that is like would fit the John Simpson mold that they signed this offseason that was like to be a starter, who was like a high pick somewhere else and sucked and then came here. That team was the Lions.
Not Javad Davis or whatever.
It's Jarrad Davis.
Jarrad Davis.
Not to be confused with current Jet Jamin Davis.
Jarrad Davis, that signing, I remember where I was. I was like, oh, he's gonna like reach his potential in the system.
It's like when JFK got shot. You know where you were when Jarrad Davis.
I know where I was for so many moments. The Brandon Marshall trade sticks out to me. I was in my college dining hall and I was shit talking so many Giant fans. I love the move at the time.
Yeah.
And then I called you and you were like, no, it's literally the greatest move ever. And so I need the safeties and the D line.
The D line, you got Quinnen, obviously. The D line was actually pretty good. This defense shouldn't have been that bad, but I guess it could have because then I don't even remember one of this guy.
Carl Lawson tore his Achilles.
Was that this year? Oh,
right.
Oh yeah, because he played in 2022. Yes.
So Jacob Martin was an edge guy.
Fuck, I lost it. Jacob Martin, was he on this fucking team? I don't think so. But honestly, the defensive line was pretty good. There's 4. You got Quinnen. There's 4 real guys.
I'll get there.
One of them is they're all pretty good and they're all like notable Jets. I'll give you a hint. One of them is from like the past. Like from that point, he's like a past Jet. Like he was there for a couple of years, and the other guys you would think of more as more recent Jets.
Like Steve McClendon.
Think of that nature. After that, who's the other guy?
Did he go to the Giants after?
No.
I feel like every defensive tackle goes to the Giants.
This guy was like a run stuffing defensive tackle who was good. He got like a pretty decent contract somewhere else, and I think was good also, and is still playing football.
Dude, I'm there, and I'm
Crazy
there.
Crazy name.
Dude, it's so bad. I need like.
He was a late round Jets pick who turned
90.
into a starting player.
Oh, drafted by the Jets?
Yes.
Oh, I can get it then. It's
of course.
Nathan Shepard.
Nathan Shepard is on this team, but it's not that guy.
Oh,
this guy's better than Nathan Shepard. He was a legitimate starter for the Jets. I think he was a 6th round pick.
I know every draft basically by heart, so this is bad.
He was a 6th round pick in 2018 for the Jets, and he was then the starter really from 2020 through 2021, and then he signed elsewhere.
2018?
Yes.
There's a Darnold, Herndon, Shepard.
Yep.
Oh no.
You're gonna be annoyed because it's a. I mean, it's not silly to not immediately name this man because it's insane, but I'll give you a hint. His first and last name start with the same letter. If I tell you the team he was on after, I think you'll immediately get it. But I'll tell you the team he was on last year was the Texans, and he's a starting nose tackle. Fucking run stuffing. He left. I think he signed a 3-year, like $30 million contract.
Our alphabet right now.
Yeah, it's early. It's in the first half of the alphabet. I can't. If you get the safety, I'm gonna cry because I don't even remember this guy.
It's so funny. The Jets drafted a horrible defensive lineman, Deion Simon, one year.
Yeah, you remember that. I think it was also a 6th or 7th round.
Come on. What college did he go to?
Oh God. Let's see. I have no idea off the top of my head. Connecticut.
Damn. It's Foley Fatukasi. It's horrible.
That's right. Foley
I knew he was
Fatukasi.
UConn, which is embarrassing.
Yeah.
Oh, Foley was so good. It's horrifying.
The other defensive lineman that you're missing is the full-time Jet starter for a couple years.
Jordan Jenkins.
No, but he's like a starter from this year on. From this 2021 season on. 2021 to 2023, this guy is a starting defensive end for the Jets.
Okay. He was drafted by the Jets?
No.
Oh.
The Jets actually acquired him in 2020, and he had a solid season as like a rotational guy, and then he was the absolute starter for the next 3 years.
I actually really good with Jets history too. This is tough.
You just named Deion Simon.
I want no hints. I'd rather do that and tell you where each like random like Jeremiah George in
It's not Jeremiah George. He was not the Jets starter for 3 years.
No, I'm saying Jeremiah George in 2012 went to Iowa State.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just think of like guys that like sacked the quarterback, man.
Yes, he did sack the quarterback.
Yeah, it's just
he was a very good player.
Oh, it's John Franklin Myers.
JFM, yes. That is the guy. And then the other defensive tackle that I think you should get was defensive tackle, good pass rusher, and I believe had 8 sacks the next year in 2022. Played 2 years with the Jets. Free agent signing in 2021. This was like one of the big quote-unquote splashes. Then he had 3 sacks, and then he had a better year the next year in 2022.
And then where did he go after?
I believe he went to the Saints, or he came from the Saints. Let's see. No, he went to the Texans after.
Oh, Sheldon Rankins.
Sheldon Rankins. And Sheldon Rankins only had 3 sacks in 2022, but he was pretty good.
I picked it up a little bit. Okay, there's a bad JFM poll was like, it was funny when you were like, who is the edge guy? I was like, there was a guy on the Jets that tipped up a pass and had a huge return against the Texans in 2021.
That guy is also on this team.
Wasn't it John Franklin Myers?
Well, that was JFM. There's another guy who I'm thinking of who had a tipped pass, if I'm not mistaken, and an interception. He did. And he was on.
Just texted us a Severance reference.
She's watching season 2. This guy was on every AFC East team except for the Patriots.
Who is this?
This another edge guy on the 2021 Jets who had an interception on a tip pass.
Oh,
on every AFC team but the Patriots.
Yep, I know it. It is.
You do.
I almost said Coney Ely, but
that is another guy who had a tipped interception for the Jets.
Yeah, it was. He had Shaq Lawson.
Yes, very nice. Great
pick
pull
against Burrow in the Mike White game.
That's a real good pull. I'll give you one. Yeah. The starting safeties. One guy started the season as the safety, played 6 games and got hurt, and was a notable player. Notable Jet safety, drafted by the Jets, starting guy. I believe this was last year on the Jets.
So last year was in 2021, probably drafted in 20.
He was drafted in 2017. Started 60 games.
Marcus May.
Yes. Yep. Current free agent. Bring him home.
And I need one more safety.
The other safety, I swear to God, I don't remember this person. Like, I'm not even joking.
Did the Jets draft him?
No, he's like a random dude. I think the Eagles cut him, and then the Jets picked him up. Well, there's two guys. There's because Marcus Miller played 6 games, so I'm looking for 2 more safeties. One of them you're gonna get for sure. But some dude started this season that I literally don't know who they are. I'll give you one. This is not the guy. Adrian Colbert started 3 games.
Yep.
Doing fucking what?
Adrian Colbert. He came from the Falcons, is that right?
Oh God.
I could be dead wrong.
He came from the Giants. Or the Browns. He was on the Giants the year before. This dude started 22 games in his career. How? The one guy you should get was is a Jets draft pick, and was on the Jets for I'll call it many years.
What year was he drafted?
20 was he drafted this year? No, 2019. Hold on, 2020.
Oh, 2020 draft.
Yeah,
not Ashton Davis.
It is Ashton Davis, but there's one other guy that I literally don't remember.
And where is he from?
He was from, I believe the Eagles cut him that year, and then the Jets picked him up and he started 7 games. If you get this, I have no idea. He went to college at Army, and he was not drafted. I'll give you a hint. He has the same first name as a Jets running back who played with Sam Darnold.
Le'Veon.
Yeah.
Bilal. That hint I think hurt.
No, come on. There's only a few guys. I don't know how you're gonna get this without it. I don't know how to give you any other hint that has to do with football.
Is he white?
No.
Okay. Army safety.
Are there any white running backs the Jets have had?
Safety.
Yeah, he's a safety.
His first name could be John. All right. I'm not looking at my phone. I'm seeing if any news broke.
Did anything happen?
No. There's a safety. Only year on the Jets 2021.
Yes.
And he's maybe from Philadelphia. He's not white. And he has the same name as a running back who played with Sam Darnold.
Yes.
The fuck was the running back in 2018?
Yeah, that year.
Yeah.
You named not Bilal Powell. There's 2 other main running backs on that team.
Okay.
One of them we referenced on Twitter last night, and it's not that guy. When the Jets Muse guy stole my tweet.
All right, I'm going to ask for initials of the player that is safety. Because I have to go.
ER. Like the emergency room.
ER.
I do not remember this person playing with the New York Jets. I have to look at his film after this. He has a sack. I have to find that sack. Do you remember the running back's name? The running back scored a touchdown in that Bills game.
Oh, I got it.
Yeah.
ER?
ER. Like the guy with the nail in his anus.
Wait, which Bills game?
The 2018, the second one.
It's Elijah McGuire.
Elijah McGuire is the running back.
Elijah?
Yeah.
Oh, I say Elijah Mitchell. Obviously, it's not.
It's not.
Oh. Breaking Jet news.
What happened? Something good?
No.
Why?
The Jets have released a player.
Who? I'm going to guess. Michael Carter.
No.
Who?
Keep going.
Fuck. Garrett Wilson.
No.
Oh, CJ? They released CJ Mosley? Fuck, dude, and I'm blurry for this moment. Damn, dude. What the fuck, man? Maybe
I
they can get
like
him back.
Mosley a lot. The Jets tweeting, "Thank you for giving the organization everything you had." They should have put except for 2020.
And when he went to Applebee's. Damn, dude.
How much
Oh man. Maybe they'll bring him back.
They said thank you. I don't think they're gonna put a thank you tweet out there if he's coming back.
Well, they don't fucking know.
I think it'd be coordinated a little bit.
Man. I'm frustrated.
What quarter did he get hurt in the Bills game in 2019?
Second quarter after he had the pick 6. Dude. Can I tell you the safety?
Yeah.
It's Elijah Riley.
Oh, I could have gotten that. Wait.
Yeah?
I definitely no. You know who I'm thinking? I'm thinking of Trevor Riley, the edge
Oh,
rusher
the
that we
white
drafted.
linebacker. Yeah. Damn, dude.
Riley.
Wow, Mosley's gone.
What's that cap hit? Like, what is the?
I don't know. Isn't it like not? Don't they not recoup a lot of money?
Didn't we also like? He took like a signing bonus last year to move it back.
Yes. So it was like, oh, he's definitely going to be on the team. Man, that's sad, dude. I don't like this. But
Oh my
now
god!
we need another linebacker.
I think he carries. I don't think this is true. 16 million in dead cap this year and 8 million next year.
Why are they doing that?
Would that be?
Who wrote that? Rich to me, they've released CJ Mosley in a long anticipated move. Can he fucking like report something? Now
So
we gotta text Connor Hughes for relevant information. Can't someone just
dead
report?
cap of 16 million.
Why are they doing that? How much money do they save?
Negative 3 million.
They save negative $3 million?
That's what it says on over the cap.
That doesn't sound very good. Hold on. I'm very confused, Matt. What the hell? They're blowing our team up. They're fucking nuking it. No, they're not. This was an older man, Matt. They're still trying to win. Oh, man. What do we... Oh, now we need another linebacker, Matt. Wow.
I want to know the cap hit.
I really like to know the cap hit, Matt.
I want to know. Can you try to find it? And I need you to check my checking.
I'm looking. He is statistically the best CJ Mosley the Jets have had out of the two of them that they had, which is damn. We'll always have the Bills fucking thing. I'm glad his career with the Jets was not just that, though. Whew, I'm looking for it.
16 million dead cap.
Why? Why is everything sad but it had to be done? What does that mean? I'm confused, Matt. All right. Well, Cooper Cup's going to be released. We need that.
What a funny episode where we intend to start with nothing happening. Then they get 2 random depth guys. Then at some point we get a backup center. We then do a 2021 trivia, and then we end it with a cutting of one of our better players.
Fuck, dude. I was just hoping they would just keep him, but I don't understand if it's the cap hit. We gotta look into it. We gotta do some research.
Woody Johnson says that Mosley was the epitome of a class act.
Let's go.
Yeah, oh, man. All right. Well,
I'm tweeting out. Does anyone know the cap situation with releasing CJ Mosley? Fucking cap is so annoying. Why do we need a cap? God. What do we do?
I don't
CJ
know.
Mosley is a great jet.
2020 bothers me, but
It does bother me as well. But at least in hindsight, it was the dirty season no matter what. Let's see, how many tackles? I didn't even play last year a lot. 3 great years, though, in a row of CJ. I wonder where he ranks all time in Jets tackles. Wow. How do I search that?
this is
Leaders.
bad podcasting. I'm sorry that we're jumping back and forth, but
Jets all time. Dude, it's not our fault. It's just fucking live information, dude. This is what we'd be doing anyway if we were just not on the podcast. Just call each other and do this.
you know what sticks with me a lot? Your cousin, who usually does a full listen, so if you made it this far, Zach, we appreciate you. He said something that really stuck out to me when Le'Veon Bell came here, where Le'Veon Bell, at the time of signing, say he didn't opt out like his final year in Pittsburgh, like what % chance does he make the Hall of Fame before even like that year?
Le'Veon?
Yeah.
It's an interesting question. Probably had a chance.
3-time Pro Bowler, first team All Pro twice, and a second team All Pro going into that gap year. So I remember him saying like he was going to be like on track for the Hall of Fame, comes to the Jets, it then obviously fizzles out. I wonder like the Mosley trajectory, it wasn't as good nearly as the
But Mosley was good with the Jets.
yeah, but
I don't think he hurt his career at all.
well, I mean,
he wasn't all pro.
The Jets didn't hurt it, but he misses a whole year in 2019, opts out 2020, plays 3 years straight, and then was hurt all of last year.
Yeah. Yeah, so 3 good years. He was an all pro second team in 2022. So that's his 5th. So he had 5 all pro 2 selections. I will remember Mosley fondly. I thought he was a good player. Man. But yeah, listen, 33-year-old linebacker. I just don't know if you're going to lose money, just keep the guy. No? And for the vibes even. Little locker room
vibes are done. All right, I got to run. Mike, great podcast as always. Thank you for an hour-long episode, everybody. We'll be back.
Yeah, it's more moves to be made.
I'm going to post the thumbnail. It's going to be Helly R passed on the table with the Jet logo, and it's going to be day 3 across. See you, buddy.
All right.